cemetery, lulubngan sa mga damo-damo nga mga ideya. For example, when I was preparing for my research, before the question, sir, I've read from there the write-up of Dr. Fabula on healing, and a lot of people are sick these days. And Dr. Bunda wrote about let it grow, and a lot of good seeds are still being killed before they could grow at the moment. Fetters Fall, Let Fetters Fall by Manang Sharon, and we could still see invisible and visible shackles and fetters oppressing our people, and bivocational pastors by Dr. Coley, and yet bivocational pastors are still staunchly criticized in our churches today. It appears that these ideas, which could have been agents of transformations, are just locked up in the library. And when I was done with my paper, one of the leaders of our organization said, academicians. This seems to be do may kaakig balaya ang mga lay people sa mga tao nga nagatuon. There seems to be this disconnect, this antagonism between those who are implementing things and those who are studying things. Now, my question, Dr. Aquinia, is from your end as an academician, as a teacher, how do you think could we bridge, how do you think could we facilitate, could put into reality? It appears that this dialogue is not existing in its truest sense at the moment. This frequent and constant dialogue between the academe and the grassroots and the church. Sir?
Okay, you're raising two questions. The first one is, how do you use these resources in the library so that they can be, they can benefit the churches? So the question there is, who will use this? Who will transmit this? Who will communicate these resources, these rich resources from the library to the churches? Second is more practical, relationship between the seminary and the church in terms maybe of performance of the students or in terms of the relevance of the curriculum. These two questions, gusto mo? Okay. Okay, number one, it is the responsibility first of faculty members to encourage their students to use the library resources, not the internet. Okay? Because if you use the internet, I know of some students, they use the internet when they make reports. So I said, you're not reporting, you know? You're not reporting. You're not using the library resources and all the researches made by our professors, former students of or faculty members of the seminary. So that's the task of first teachers to encourage their students to use the library resources so that in the end they can also transmit the knowledge from what they have read to the churches. Second, dialogue between the seminary and the church. I think you were absent yesterday when I asked the question, who crafts the curriculum of the seminary? Is it the expert? Or is it a collaborative partnership between the students or churches and the seminary? During our time, I'm sorry, Dr. Pagara, that was a different context. One of the comments of the churches was that most of our graduates do not know how to read notes, don't even know how to sing hymns. They only know 2 or 3 kinds of hymns. So Mrs. Amandre was then the department, the coordinator of music. So he said, the only way to do that is increase the number of seminars in church music, teach them how to sing. This, some of the hymns are still important. No? We do not say that disregard the old hymns and only use the contemporary music. But they said there's value in using these hymns because of its theology that you can find in these hymns. So, product of that conversation was, all right, let's increase the number of units in hymn. This is Hoyo is here, a music teacher. Hymnology, ano pa? Rudiments of music and all. I think the 21 units na to last time, no? So, result was sila sa iban, 21 units. Sa isang seminary student, sir, libago na ko, sir. So, hindi ako kapasar. So, I think as product of the dialogue, we changed the curriculum again as a result of that continuing conversation with the seminary. This is not only that, but some other areas of discipline, that this kind of communication should continue, to exist between the seminary and the churches, because if there are no churches today, then there will be no seminaries tomorrow. We need the churches to establish a seminary. In like manner, we need to enrich the theology of the churches by continuing inviting faculty members, develop kind of teaching methodologies and content of the curriculum, or programs of the seminary to enrich the churches. It's something that this relationship is something that is non-negotiable. It should be nurtured by the leaders of the churches and also the institutions.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we'll have to end. Let us give a round of applause to our wonderful speakers. Thank you very much. And I would like to give this time to Rhea.
So I'm giving this time now to Reverend Dr. Pagara.
Thank you, Ma'am Rhea. Before we finally conclude this activity today, there's an announcement. Friday next week, we'll be having another activity regarding the Ancheta lecture. This is also one of the continuing theological programs of the College of Theology through the Ancheta family. So some of you maybe are invited to come again and join during this lecture